We don't hold those men in esteem that play dead, lie down, and just fit in. We like the outliers that say, hey, I'm not going to just follow the routine of everybody else. I'm going to follow this radical thought of living free, of living sovereign, of being alive. Right? There's this vigor within us to want to achieve more. Gentlemen, what's going on? This is the Better Man channel, where we refuse to sit on the sidelines. We refuse to just fit in and let life pass us by. We recognize this in the animal kingdom. A lot of times animals, they have this mimicry where they're just kind of camouflaged, fitting into their surroundings. And sometimes this is to prey on other animals. And a lot of the times it's just to fit in, to get by, to be unnoticed, and maybe to even hide from predators that are at bay. Animals kind of camouflage themselves. They fit into the surroundings. We even see the possum that plays dead when its predators come to attack. And I think we can recognize this in the state of society today. We can recognize it more specifically in men, and even more specifically on an individual level. How many of us are just kind of going with the flow? We're just fitting in. We don't want to stand out. We don't want to cause a stir. And we see society, this degenerate society, kind of just falling apart and collapsing all around us, and we get caught up in it. And I believe many of us are frustrated. We're like, damn, I wish things could change. I wish things were different. Hell, if we're real honest, I believe we would say, I wish I was different. I wish I would quit fitting in and be that man that stands out, that stands on his own 2 feet and says, hey, I'm not going to go with the flow anymore. I'm not going to play possum. I'm not going to lay down and play dead and just hope. Keyword there, hope, that I'll be left alone and life will just move on kind of without me and everything will be okay. But the idea behind being a man is that what if I stood up on my own 2 feet? What if I embraced something different besides just fitting in and even playing dead? And in essence, I think that's what a large part of us men are doing. We've been emasculated. We've been pushed to the corners. We've been taught to just play dead. Play dead by losing that virility, that strong energy to be man, to be that leader, to be that assertive, dominant standpoint that we were created to take. That's our position. And when you're not standing into that position, you're just fitting in. In essence, you are a dead possum that's just hoping that society will pass you by. And in order for us to remove from this kind of mundane, monotonous trap, right? This trap that we're in, we're going to have to begin to think radically. We're going to have to begin to have those radical thoughts, because radical thinking is what got this culture and society that we're in today where it is. We see men that are claiming they're women. We see women claiming that they're men. We see up, down, left, right. We see this turmoil, this tumultuous chaos surrounding us. And yes, it is easier to just kind of play possum and let it pass you by. But that's not our nature. That should never be our nature, to just kind of give up and relinquish our power that is manhood, that is that masculinity. So it's going to take a radical thought. And in this case, it's a radical thought towards tradition. What if we return to something traditional? What if I begin to embrace what it meant to be a man of masculinity? What if I begin to embrace that responsible role? And then what if I begin to personify that on a daily basis to friends, to family, to workplaces, to community? And what if that had a ripple effect? And what if it doesn't, right? We have to begin to explore all these options of, what is it going to take for me to get out of this rut? What is it going to take me to get out of this just fitting in narrative that I'm sold and that I've bought into, kind of that product just flowing down the assembly line? You are not just another product. You are not just another sheep. And if we continue to buy into that, then our life is going to pass us by. And maybe we don't get into too much struggles or challenges, but have we ever truly lived if we're not competing to get better? So the idea here is what radical thought do you need to embrace on an individual basis that's going to get you out of this rut, that's going to allow you to quit playing possum? What do you need to ask yourself? What thought can you begin to turn over in your head? What thought do you need to begin to wrestle with and spar with to see if there's any strength to it that can enable you to get out of this stagnant position that you're in? Right? And I wish and hope that society comes to this position where what if we return to traditional roles? What if man was man, woman was woman? What if we had this traditional principle, this foundation, this plane of existence that we could begin to build upon? Because the state that we're in today is going to collapse. It is collapsing. We can recognize that. And just playing possum and standing on the sidelines is not going to do anything to benefit us. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think we should just thrust ourselves in the middle of a diminished and demised society that's turned against the very principles of what it means to be traditional, of what it means to be man. A lot of times it takes a removing from that. But on my own terms, I want to stand up and say, I'm not going to lay down and play dead. I'm going to voice the truth and principles that have sustained society for the length of civilization. Right? Man, man, woman, woman, the principles behind that. What if we return to that? And the key in that is to be adaptable as well, right? What if I return to some traditions, some masculinity roles, the responsibility of that? I've set my course, an approximate course. I think many times we get too rigid and too hard on ourselves. I got to hit that target. It has to be by this time. And when that doesn't happen, because we all know unexpected things happen in life, we have to recourse. Think of a boat sailing in the ocean. It has a course. It knows the port that it's going to, but winds happen, storms happen, weather happens. So there's some adjustments, some adaptations, but they're still headed and arriving at that same course. We as men need to take that initiative that this is the course that we need to go. This is the course that family, friends, community, society needs to go. And I'm going to do my part, whatever that may be, however large or however small. I'm going to do my part to recourse some direction here where society can actually have some sustainable traction. So what are we doing as men today to get up, stand up, and be that man of sovereignty, that man of power, that man of masculinity, that virile man, that strong, energetic man that other men want to emulate? We quit playing dead. We don't hold those men in esteem that play dead, lie down, and just fit in. We like the outliers that say, hey, I'm not going to just follow the routine of everybody else. I'm going to follow this radical thought of living free, of living sovereign, of being alive, right? There's this vigor within us to want to achieve more. All men, everybody here, everybody watching, we've thought that, we've hopefully experienced that at one point or another where, damn, freedom to be me, stand up in what I believe in. Quit lying down, fitting in, playing dead, and let that very virile spirit and energy that is man pass me by. What if we begin to make some changes, some radical thinking that got us out of this rut, to stand up and say, what can I do better today? What can I do more? And I think that's kind of the narrative that needs to be spoken in the manosphere. Let's stand up. Let's rise up, be our best damn potential. We're not going to lie down and play dead. We're going to stand up and be alive. And I think once we return to the traditional values of man, masculinity, that responsible vigor to say, hey, this is the direction we need to go in, then maybe society, maybe not the large portion of society, but the minority of society begin to adopt that and move towards that. What if we seen a culture that began to move away from this new modernity, this degenerate society where everything's okay? What if we return to a right and wrong, woman, man, and the traditional roles that have helped sustain society since antiquity? The role, the principle, the foundation of what we can be today, what we need to do today to live and progress. We're not going to lie down and fit in and just hope everything's okay and everything passes us by and the predator knocking on the door will say, they're not home. Because that's not how it works. If we lie down and play dead long enough, the enemy's going to come along and we're going to be swept away into whatever agenda they have. We are men created to be strong, created to be alive, created to be dominant, created to be assertive, creative, take that position as leader, as example. So the question becomes, what radical thought do I need to implement and adopt today so that I can get out of this rut, so that I quit playing possum and let life pass me by? We have a very short amount of time on this earth, and I don't want to just lay down and play dead and hope everything that's okay. I would rather stand up on my 2 feet and face the challenges that I can hopefully turn around into opportunities to become better, to become stronger, at least to become a little more wise in my understanding of what's going on in the world, right? The possum laying dead with eyes closed, maybe squinting, can't see what's really going on, can't really enjoy life. So we have to ask ourselves, have I been playing dead? Have I just trying to fit in and hope everything passes me by? Is there more to life? What if I got up today and just tried something new? What if I got up today and tried a new perception? What if I got up today and stood in that manhood, that masculine role to say, hey, there's more to life and I'm going to enjoy it instead of lying down just hoping that everything turns out all right. I love you guys. You'll hear from me next episode.